I remember there in Luling, Texas, when I stayed with my grandmother and my two aunts, Aunt Ezel and Aunt Elizabeth. As a little kid, I was always into something. I was always doing something. So one time, I decided that I would go outside, get a piece of grandma's uh, sewing string, and tie it to a button. Because I observed these chickens for a long time and for many days. And what I noticed was those chickens, anything that moved on the ground, they would peck it to eat it. So me, with my little 3, 4 year old mind, I decided to tie some string around a button. And when the chicken came, I would throw the button and pull it, and he would peck at it and swallow the button, and I'd pull the string real hard and kill him. See, and the reason that I wanted to do that, some of y'all may say, boy, that boy was bad. But the reason I wanted to do that, because a couple of weeks before that, I was outside playing, and this hen come around the corner with a bunch of little baby chickens. So I tried to pick one of the little chickens up, and that mother hen got on top of my head and pucked my head so hard, had me bald-headed. And it went on for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and my grandmother happened to come outside and say, get that chicken off that boy before he accidentally and pluck him in his eyes. And I was under the porch with that chicken, and my head was hitting the top of the porch, and the chicken was tearing my head up, and I really didn't know what to do. So the only thing I knew to do was push that chicken off and start hollering. So after I started hollering, everybody ran out of the house because they heard my desperate scream. Everybody started saying, are you okay? Are you okay? Ain't two mama and ain't Ezel? I love them to death even to this day. They came and got that chicken off me. But my grandma, she shouted through the door. She couldn't open it from the outside, and she couldn't crawl under the porch. And she said, boy, you was under that porch. Did you hit your head? And I said, no, ma'am, I didn't hit my head. I can't even get up under here. I yelled. I said, get me out of here. I wasn't aware that all I had to do was crawl out. I wasn't aware that my auntie and them was getting the chicken with a broom off my head, and they helped me crawl from up under the house. But as soon as I got from under that house, and I sit there on the porch talking to my granddaddy and my big mama, I couldn't do nothing but thank them for what they had did. And I thank my auntie and them for pulling that chicken off my head. It was something else, getting plucked upside the head by that chicken. And when I said that, my auntie and them, they kind of comforted me a little bit, and helped me out a little bit, But with the strength of the adults, they got that chicken off my head. So I climbed from under the porch, sit up on top of the porch, and they all walked by me with the same strength they had when they was knocking them chickens off of the top of my head. And I looked over and I said, thank y'all so much. And then I ran off to play. See, that's how I thought the Christian life was supposed to work. God shows up in the nick of time. He hears my cry, get me out of here, I want to play. And what he does, he get them chickens off the top of my head from plucking me all upside my head. See, after I realized that, then I realized that it was a blessing that I desired to have somebody come to my aid as God does us today. But sometimes he does. But now I'm realizing the Christian life doesn't work that way. And I wonder, are any of us content with God helping us out all the time? Do we even like him when he doesn't take the chicken off the top of our head? Most of us probably don't. Do we like him even when our marriage is not healed? Do we like him even when we're rebellious kids or doing the wrong thing? Do we like him when our friends betray us? Do we like him when our business fails? Do we like him when we have financial problems? Are we uncomfortable with the way of our lives? Do we like him when the prospect of terrorism hits the country? Do we like him when our health gets real bad and much needed prayer is needed? Do we like him when we're lonely and it intensifies depression? And do we like him when our ministry dies from us? Do we like him? You know, what I've learned is that God has always took the chicken off the top of my head, whether it was with a broom, whether it was with me going through prayer. See, I understand God doesn't always walk by me to take the chicken off my head. See, I couldn't get the chicken off my head. Instead, this is what God does. He sits down on the floor and says, "Come sit with me." He seems to think that climbing into the room to be more with me matters than anything else, like me going out to play. See, it doesn't always seem that way. Get me out of here, I scream. If you love me, God, get this chicken off the top of my head. You know, and I've learned to realize that chicken gonna keep hitting the top of my head until I learn how to surrender to God. See, till I learn how to leave them baby chickens alone, them chickens was gonna keep tearing my head up. And let me tell you something. That is not a good thing to have to go through, being plucked upside the head by a chicken. My auntie, Evelyn Huff, she always loved to hear me preach this message when I used to preach it all the time. You know, but this is an interesting message. And it really is, because a lot of us that are Christians don't realize when we're going through something, that's when God is carrying us. May you have a blessed day in the Lord. God bless you.